The prison gates swung open. Keir emerged, a shadow of his former self. Years of confinement had etched lines on his face, but his eyes still held a familiar glint. A cunning intelligence flickered within them. He was a man who had spent years plotting, scheming, waiting for his chance to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. His release was met with a mixture of apprehension and forced welcome by his family. They had gathered, a tapestry of conflicted emotions painted across their faces. His daughters, Leona and Lilith, stood at the forefront. Leona, the elder, bore the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, her gaze wary. Lilith, younger and more impulsive, seemed to harbor a flicker of hope, a dangerous naivety that Keir could exploit. Returning to his dilapidated childhood home, Keir wasted no time in attempting to manipulate those around him. He feigned remorse, shedding crocodile tears for his past transgressions. He spoke of redemption, of a desire to make amends for his mistakes, but his words rang hollow, lacking genuine sincerity. Within days of his release, Keir overdosed. The family rushed him to the hospital, fear gripping their hearts. Was this a genuine cry for help or another calculated move? The incident served its purpose. It reminded everyone of Keir's fragility, his supposed vulnerability. It shifted the focus from his past deeds to his present needs. Keir was a master manipulator. He possessed an uncanny ability to identify and exploit the weaknesses of others. He knew exactly which strings to pull to elicit the desired response, twisting words, and fabricating scenarios to serve his own agenda. He targeted Leona's sense of responsibility, guilt-tripping her into caring for him. Keir reminded her of her duty as a daughter, preying on her compassionate nature. He painted himself as a victim of circumstance, a man desperately seeking redemption. Lilith, easily swayed by charm and grand promises, became a pawn in his game. He fueled her ambition, whispering tales of a life filled with wealth and privilege. He insinuated that Leona held her back, portraying himself as the only one who truly understood and supported Lilith's desires. Keir's manipulation extended beyond his immediate family. He sowed discord among friends, turning them against each other with carefully planted lies and half-truths. He thrived on chaos, believing that a divided family would be easier to control. His presence was a toxic cloud, casting a dark shadow over their lives. Leona, the eldest daughter, had always been the responsible one. She was the glue that held the fractured family together, shouldering the burdens that others refused to carry. Even as a child, she had been forced to adopt a maternal role, cleaning up after Keir's messes and shielding her younger sister from the worst of his behavior. Years of dealing with Keir's manipulations had taken their toll. Leona carried the weight of the world on her shoulders, her own needs and desires pushed aside. She worked tirelessly to provide for the family, her dreams deferred, her spirit slowly being crushed under the immense pressure. Despite the hardships she faced, Leona possessed a quiet strength, a resilience that refused to be extinguished. She had an unwavering sense of right and wrong, a moral compass that guided her actions even in the darkest of times. She was determined to break the cycle of manipulation and provide a better life for herself and her loved ones. Yet, beneath her stoic exterior, Leona harbored a deep-seated pain. She loved her father, despite everything he had done. The constant betrayal, the manipulation, the knowledge that she was being used, chipped away at her soul. She yearned for his love and approval, a validation she knew deep down he was incapable of giving. Section 4. A web of deceit, Keir's plot against his own daughter. Keir's return reawakened a familiar dread in Leona's heart. She saw through his facade of remorse, recognizing the telltale signs of manipulation. She knew with a sinking feeling that he was up to something, that her family was once again in danger. Her suspicions were confirmed when she discovered Keir was secretly plotting against her. He had been siphoning money from their joint account, transferring funds to an offshore account he had set up years ago. He was planning to leave, to disappear with the money and leave his daughters to deal with the aftermath. But Keir's betrayal went deeper than financial deception. He was actively working to turn Lilith against Leona, fueling the flames of sibling rivalry. He planted seeds of doubt in Lilith's mind, whispering lies about Leona's intentions, convincing her that her own sister was holding her back from a life of happiness and success. Keir's plan was insidious. He knew that Leona would never abandon her family, even if it meant sacrificing her own happiness. He was counting on her sense of responsibility, her unwavering loyalty to keep her trapped in his web of deceit. Section 5. Lilith's envy, jealousy, conflict, and treacherous betrayal. Lilith, the more volatile of the two. She possessed a fiery spirit, a hunger for excitement and adventure that often led her down a dangerous path. Where Leona was cautious and responsible, Lilith had always harbored a secret resentment towards Leona. She envied her sister's strength, her unwavering sense of purpose. Lilith felt overshadowed, her own accomplishments paling in comparison to Keir recognized this jealousy and exploited it mercilessly. He whispered poisonous words in Lilith's ear, feeding her resentment, convincing her that Leona was the reason for her unhappiness. He promised Lilith a from responsibility, if only she would choose his side. Blinded by her father's manipulations and consumed by her own jealousy, Lilith made a devastating choice. She betrayed Leona's scheme to steal the family's remaining assets and disappear.